Captain Yan Wu checked his instruments for the third time that morning as his research ship New Sol drifted near Neptune's outer rings. The ice particles caught sunlight and sparkled like diamonds against the black void of space. His crew of 12 had been studying the unusual energy readings coming from this sector for 2 weeks now and still found nothing that made sense. Dr. Sojin floated past him in the zero-gravity section of the bridge and pointed at her scanner display. The readings were getting stronger every hour, but they could not identify the source. Whatever was causing these energy spikes was unlike anything in their databases. Captain, the readings just jumped again, Sojin said as she anchored herself to a handheld near his station. Her voice carried that excited tone she got whenever they discovered something new. As Earth's best xenobiologist, she had spent years hoping for signs of alien life, and these readings were the closest thing they had found. Yan Wu was about to respond when every alarm on the ship started screaming at once. The main display lit up with proximity warnings and threat indicators. Something massive had just appeared on their sensors less than 50 kilometers away. The object was so large that their computer systems needed several seconds to calculate its full dimensions. 15.7 kilometers long, reported Engineer Huan, who was manning the sensor station. His voice shook as he read the numbers. 8 kilometers wide and 3 kilometers tall. Captain, this thing is bigger than any structure humans have ever built. The ship was clearly artificial. Its hull gleamed with a crystalline surface that reflected light in patterns that hurt to look at directly. Weapon ports lined its sides like dark eyes, and energy readings showed power levels that could destroy entire cities. This was not a peaceful exploration vessel. Are we getting any communication signals? Yan Wu asked, while trying to keep his voice steady. His training had covered first contact protocols, but those assumed they would meet aliens under controlled conditions on Earth, or at a space station. Finding a massive warship near Neptune was not in any of the manuals. Communications officer Da Min worked frantically at her station, trying every frequency and protocol they knew. Nothing on standard channels, Captain, but I am detecting some kind of scanning beam. They are definitely aware of us. The massive alien ship began to move closer. Its approach was slow and deliberate, like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. When it reached 10 kilometers distance, it stopped and began projecting holographic images into the space around the New Sol. First image showed a planet covered in green forests and blue oceans, with cities that looked similar to those on Earth. The next image showed the same planet burning as massive ships like the one facing them fired weapons that turned mountains into glass and boiled away seas. The third image showed the planet as a dead rock floating in space with no signs of life anywhere on its surface. I think they are trying to scare us, Sojin said quietly as she stared at the horrifying display. The images were clear enough that there could be no mistaking their meaning. This was what happened to species that resisted the aliens. A new hologram appeared showing mathematical symbols and star charts. The aliens were demanding immediate surrender and threatening to do to Earth what they had done to the dead world in their previous images. They wanted humanity to submit without fighting or face complete destruction. Yan Wu found himself thinking about his family back on Earth and wondered if this might be the last conversation any human would ever have with alien visitors. The smart choice would be to send a distress signal and try to escape, but something about the aliens' approach bothered him. Da Min, open a communication channel on all frequencies, he ordered. Sojin, I want you to record everything they show us and everything we say. If we do not make it back to Earth, someone needs to know what happened here. The channel opened with a burst of static, followed by a voice that sounded like grinding crystal mixed with electronic harmonics. The translation software struggled with the alien language but managed to produce words that made sense. Primitive carbon-based life forms, you have been selected for incorporation into the Galactic Dominion, the voice said, with what sounded like boredom. Your species will submit to Dominion authority or face elimination. You have 72 standard time periods to prepare your world for occupation. Resistance will result in planetary sterilization. Yan Wu looked around his bridge at his crew, members who were all staring at him with wide eyes. They expected him to beg for mercy or promise that Earth would surrender. Instead, he found himself genuinely curious about these aliens and their technology. Thank you for contacting us, Yan Wu said politely into the communication system. I am Captain Yan Wu of the Earth vessel New Sol. We are honored to make first contact with your species. Your ship is truly impressive from an engineering perspective. Would it be possible to exchange information about our respective civilizations?" The silence that followed lasted for nearly a full minute. When the alien voice returned, it sounded confused rather than threatening. "You do not comprehend your situation, carbon-based life form. Your species faces extinction if you do not comply with Dominion demands. Your response should be fear and submission, not curiosity about our technology." Sojin moved closer to the communication station and gestured for permission to speak. Yanwu nodded, and she leaned toward the microphone. "I am Dr. Sojin, and I study alien life forms," she said with enthusiasm. "We have been hoping to meet other intelligent species for centuries. Your crystalline structure is fascinating, and we would love to learn more about your biology and culture. Do your people have scientists who might be interested in studying human biology as well?" Another long silence followed before the alien spoke again, and this time its voice carried notes of what might have been bewilderment. "Your reaction is outside normal parameters. All species demonstrate fear when presented with Dominion superiority displays. You appear to be treating this as a social interaction rather than a conquest scenario." Engineer Huan decided to join the conversation without waiting for permission. "Your energy systems are incredible," he said while studying the sensor readings. "The power output we are detecting suggests technology far beyond our current capabilities. We have some interesting developments in fusion technology that might interest your engineers. Would your people be willing to share technical knowledge?" The alien ship remained motionless for several minutes, while presumably its crew tried to understand why humans were responding to threats with invitations to cultural exchange. When communication resumed, the voice sounded distinctly uncertain. "This behavior is not covered in standard Dominion First Contact protocols. We require time to consult with command authority. Your species will receive no further warnings. Prepare for subjugation or face annihilation." The massive ship began to move away from the new Sol, but not before projecting one final hologram. This image showed Earth with its continents clearly visible, followed by the same planet covered in the fires of orbital bombardment. The message was unmistakable after the alien ship disappeared into faster-than-light travel. The crew of the new Sol sat in stunned silence for several minutes. They had just made first contact with an alien species, and that species had threatened to destroy all human life within 3 days. "Captain," Damin said quietly, "should we send a warning to Earth about the incoming invasion?" Yanwu thought about the question carefully. The aliens had clearly expected humans to react with terror and submission, but instead his crew had responded with scientific curiosity and offers of friendship. The aliens seemed more confused than angry about this unexpected reaction. "Send a full report to Earth Command," he finally decided. "Include all sensor data about their ship and technology, plus complete recordings of our communication. Tell them we have made contact with aliens who seem surprised that we want to be friends instead of enemies." As the new Sol began its journey back to Earth, Sojin continued analyzing the alien ship data with obvious excitement. "Captain," she said, "I think these aliens might have made a serious mistake. They are trying to scare a species that turned horror movies into entertainment and made extreme sports into hobbies. Humans do not react to fear the way they expect." The news of alien contact reached Earth exactly 18 hours after Captain Yanwu transmitted his report. Within minutes, every major news network was broadcasting the story, and within an hour, the entire planet knew that aliens had threatened to destroy humanity unless Earth surrendered in 3 days. Admiral Dong-hyun sat in the emergency meeting room at Earth Defense Command, watching politicians argue about evacuation plans and surrender terms. The debate had been going in circles for 6 hours, with no useful decisions made. Some wanted to hide underground, while others insisted they should broadcast surrender messages immediately. "Admiral, what are your thoughts on our military options?" asked President Martinez, who looked like she had not slept since receiving the alien message. "Honestly, Madam President, our weapons would be like throwing rocks at a battleship," Dong-hyun replied, while studying the technical analysis of the alien vessel. "Their ship alone has more firepower than our entire planet. A conventional military response would be suicide." What surprised the Admiral was how quickly ordinary citizens had moved past fear and into action. Social media was exploding with jokes about the aliens and videos of people making welcome signs. in dozens of languages. Alien welcome was trending worldwide, along with thousands of memes making fun of the aliens' intimidation tactics. Engineer Hyejin had not left her laboratory since the alien encounter data arrived. She led a team of 50 scientists working around the clock to understand alien technology from the sensor recordings. Instead of trying to build weapons, they focused on communication systems and manufacturing capabilities. Their energy patterns suggest they use some form of crystalline matrix for power generation. Hyejin explained to anyone who would listen. If we can replicate even a fraction of their technology, we might be able to communicate more effectively, or even offer them something they want. Dr. Min Ho from the Military Strategy Department had a different approach to the problem. He spent his time studying the aliens' behavior patterns and psychological profiles based on their communication style. His conclusion was that these aliens had never encountered a species that refused to be intimidated. They follow rigid protocols, Min Ho told the Defense Committee. Their entire strategy depends on fear and submission. They have no backup plan for species that respond with curiosity instead of terror. This might be our advantage. The most unexpected response came from the civilian population. Captain Subin of the Merchant Marine received over 2 million volunteer applications within 12 hours of announcing that commercial ships would be retrofitted to meet the aliens. Cargo haulers volunteered to carry diplomats and cultural ambassadors, while luxury cruise ships offered to host welcome parties. "We are not running away from the most important moment in human history," Subin announced during a live broadcast. "These aliens want to meet us, so we are going to give them the biggest welcome party our species has ever organized." Mining companies volunteered their deep space vessels, while shipping corporations offered their entire fleets for what people were calling the Great Human Welcome. Instead of military preparation, Earth was organizing what looked more like a festival than a defense. The transformation happening across Earth amazed even the most optimistic observers. Factories that normally produced consumer goods switched to manufacturing communication equipment and cultural displays. Artists worked on massive digital presentations showing human history and achievements. Musicians composed welcome songs in mathematical languages that aliens might understand. Dr. Ji-won became famous overnight for her television appearances, where she analyzed alien psychology based on their first contact behavior. Her theory was that the aliens belonged to a hierarchical society that used fear as their primary tool for maintaining order. "They threatened us because that is how they communicate dominance in their own society," Ji-won explained to millions of viewers. But humans have a long history of responding to bullies by standing up to them. These aliens have never met a species that treats threats as invitations to friendship. Commander Tae-young took charge of Earth's official response to the alien ultimatum. Instead of surrender or defiance, he crafted a message that surprised everyone, including himself. "Attention visiting aliens," his broadcast began. "Thank you for reaching out to humanity. We have received your message and are preparing a proper welcome for your arrival. Please bring as many friends as you would like, because we have much to show you about our species and our world. We look forward to learning about your civilization and sharing ours with you." The message was broadcast on every frequency humans could generate and repeated in mathematical sequences that should be understandable to any technological species. Instead of begging for mercy, Earth was sending party invitations. Military bases around the world worked frantically, but not on weapons systems. They manufactured welcome gifts, including collections of human art, music, literature, and science. Every major language on Earth was represented, along with mathematical and scientific concepts that might interest alien visitors. The most telling sign of humanity's unusual response was the complete absence of panic. Stock markets remained stable while people continued going to work and school. Children drew pictures of friendly aliens while adults debated what foods might be safe for crystalline life forms to eat. President Martinez found herself in the unprecedented position of preparing for either first contact diplomacy or planetary destruction with equal enthusiasm from her citizens. Public opinion polls showed that 93% of humans wanted to proceed with the welcome preparations regardless of the risks. "Madam President," reported Communications Director Park, "we are receiving thousands of messages from citizens volunteering to serve as cultural ambassadors. Universities are competing to offer alien exchange student programs, and restaurants are developing menus for non-biological life forms." The most extraordinary development was how quickly human ingenuity adapted to the situation. Engineer Wan Ho led teams that analyzed the alien weapon signatures and developed improvements to their targeting systems. Instead of using this information for defense, they prepared technical presentations offering to help aliens upgrade their equipment. Their weapons are impressive, but inefficient, Wan Ho explained to his team. We could show them how to increase their energy output by 30% while reducing power consumption. They might appreciate the engineering collaboration. Scientists around the world abandoned their normal research to focus on xenobiology and alien psychology. Dr. Na Young published papers on optimal first contact protocols, while Professor Kim developed translation algorithms for crystalline communication patterns. The global response was so unprecedented that alien monitoring stations probably concluded that humans were either completely insane or operating on a level of social sophistication that made conventional conquest impossible. As the deadline approached, Earth had transformed itself into something that would confuse any species expecting surrender or resistance. Instead of military preparations, the planet buzzed with activity focused on cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and interspecies. Friendship Admiral Dong Hyun stood on the observation deck of Earth Defense Command, watching the steady stream of volunteer vessels heading toward outer space. Converted cargo ships filled with gifts and cultural presentations joined research vessels equipped with the most advanced communication systems humanity could build. Sir, reported his aide, the alien monitoring stations are showing increased activity. They appear to be as confused by our response as we were by their threats. The Admiral smiled as he watched humanity's greatest adventure begin. Lieutenant, I think we are about to find out whether our species' greatest strength is our technology or our ability to make friends with anyone. General Kriegstall commanded 50 of the Dominion's most powerful warships as they approached the primitive system where the carbon-based life forms lived. His crystalline structure hummed with satisfaction as he anticipated another easy conquest. The battle group represented enough firepower to shatter planets, and his crew had performed this routine hundreds of times across the galaxy. The general expected to find a broken species broadcasting surrender messages and begging for mercy. Instead, his sensors detected something that made no sense according to any previous conquest scenario. The space around the third planet was filled with thousands of vessels arranged in organized formations. Battle Analysis Officer, provide tactical assessment, Kriegstall commanded as his flagship emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. General, the readings are unprecedented, replied the officer whose crystalline form flickered with confusion. We detect approximately 8,000 vessels of varying sizes arranged in what appears to be a greeting formation rather than defensive positions. None of the ships show hostile configurations. The general studied the tactical display with growing bewilderment. The human vessels ranged from massive cargo haulers to tiny personal craft, and they were positioned as if welcoming a parade rather than preparing for battle. Many ships displayed colorful banners and projected light patterns that seemed designed for celebration. Are these humans attempting some form of camouflaged assault? Kriegstall asked his tactical specialists. Every conquest protocol in Dominion databases covered resistance scenarios, but none addressed species that appeared to be throwing parties for their conquerors. Before his officers could respond, the communication systems activated with transmissions from hundreds of human vessels. The messages came in dozens of different languages and mathematical formats, but they all carried the same basic meaning. The humans were welcoming the Dominion fleet and offering gifts. Commander Da-Un led the first wave of human diplomats approaching the Dominion ships in unarmed shuttles. Her vessels were loaded with carefully selected gifts representing the best of human culture, including music that had been mathematically translated for crystalline hearing and art that used light frequencies visible to alien sensors. Attention, Dominion visitors, Da-Un broadcast as her shuttle approached the nearest alien warship. Welcome to our solar system. We are honored to meet your species and hope to begin a friendship that will benefit both our civilizations. We have brought gifts and cultural presentations to share with you. General Kriegstall ordered his weapons officer to fire warning shots to halt the approaching humans. The energy beams destroyed 3 of the small shuttles instantly and should have sent the remaining humans fleeing in terror. Instead, 10 more shuttles immediately launched from nearby human vessels with crews, competing for the honor of making contact. General, this behavior is outside all known parameters, reported his xenopsychology specialist. Every species in our databases responds to demonstration of superior firepower with fear and submission. These humans appear to be treating weapon discharge as signal flares for a celebration. The situation became more confusing when Dr. Kyung-soo began broadcasting from Earth's largest communication array. His transmission was directed specifically at Dominion ships and contained what he called the Great Human Introduction. The broadcast included complete human history from the development of agriculture through space exploration, along with detailed explanations of human culture, science, and philosophy. Greetings, friends from the stars, Dr. Kyung-soo's message began. We understand you may be unfamiliar with human customs, so we want to share information about our species. We believe that all intelligent life forms have something valuable to contribute to the universe, and we are excited to learn what your people can teach us. General Kriegstall found himself listening to hours of human cultural information, including something called music that created harmonic resonances in his crystalline structure. The humans described their planet's biodiversity, their technological achievements, and their hopes for peaceful contact with alien species. The most disturbing development was that human engineers were analyzing Dominion technology in real time. During the standoff, Engineer Won-ho broadcast technical improvements to Dominion weapon systems, offering to help upgrade their equipment for better efficiency. Your plasma containment systems could benefit from recursive field modulation. Won-ho transmitted directly to the Dominion flagship. We calculate a 37% improvement in energy output with modifications that should be compatible with your existing technology. Would your engineers like to collaborate on testing these improvements? The General's tactical officers reported that humans were somehow learning about Dominion technology faster than should be possible. Their adaptation rate suggested intelligence levels that had been severely underestimated in initial contact reports. General reported his communications specialist, "We are receiving over 2,000 individual messages from human vessels. They are offering cultural exchanges, scientific collaboration, and something they call friendship. None of these communications contain any surrender terms or military negotiations." The situation deteriorated further when humans began physically approaching Dominion ships. Captain Yuri led civilian volunteer fleets in converted cargo vessels that moved slowly toward alien warships while broadcasting continuous friendship signals. When Dominion forces fired warning shots, the humans simply broadcast stronger friendship signals and continued their approach. "You appear upset," Captain Yuri transmitted to the nearest Dominion vessel. "We understand that first contact can be stressful for everyone involved. Please let us know if there is anything we can do to make this meeting more comfortable for your crew." General Kriegstall realized with growing alarm that his battle group was losing initiative in the confrontation. Dominion doctrine required either immediate surrender from inferior species or quick decisive battles to establish dominance. The humans were preventing both outcomes by treating the encounter as a social visit. Battle analysis officer, explain why our intimidation protocols are failing, the general demanded, as he watched human vessels continue their friendly approach. Despite repeated weapon demonstrations, General, our research indicates that human psychology operates differently from previously encountered species, the officer replied while reviewing xenological databases. They appear to interpret aggressive displays as challenges to be overcome rather than warnings to be heeded. Their response patterns suggest they view this encounter as an opportunity rather than a threat. The most troubling discovery was that Dominion crew members were beginning to show signs of psychological stress. The crystalline species had evolved for hierarchical conflicts where superior force quickly established clear dominance relationships. Extended encounters with species that refused to acknowledge superior force created anxiety responses in Dominion personnel. "General," reported the fleet medical officer, "we are detecting elevated stress indicators among crew members who have been monitoring human transmissions. The continuous friendship offers and cultural sharing requests appear to be having unexpected psychological effects on our people." Several Dominion ships reported that their crews were becoming curious about human culture rather than focused on conquest objectives. Junior officers requested permission to analyze human music and art, while technical specialists wanted to examine human engineering innovations. General Kriegstall found himself in an unprecedented command situation. His battle group remained capable, of destroying the human homeworld, but doing so would eliminate the most interesting species the Dominion had ever encountered. The humans had somehow made conquest seem less appealing than conversation. Communications, prepare a transmission to Dominion High Command, the general ordered. Report that the human species represents an unprecedented first contact scenario requiring immediate strategic review. Current conquest protocols are insufficient for species that respond to intimidation with friendship offers. As the standoff continued, human vessels maintained their positions around Dominion ships like enthusiastic hosts, welcoming honored guests. The aliens had come expecting to inspire fear and submission, but instead found themselves the focus of the largest friendship initiative in galactic history. General Krixtal received direct orders from Dominion High Command after 3 days of unprecedented stalemate with the human species. Emperor Vashatar himself had reviewed the situation reports and demanded immediate resolution through demonstration of overwhelming force. The humans needed to learn that friendship offers were not acceptable responses to Dominion authority. Target the largest human population center, the general commanded his weapons officer. Orbital bombardment will demonstrate the consequences of refusing Dominion rule. Once they witness planetary destruction, they will abandon their inappropriate social behavior. The target selected was New Singapore, a coastal city of 12 million, humans that represented one of their major technological and cultural centers. Dominion battle doctrine required destroying significant population centers to break species morale and force immediate surrender. General Krixtal expected the bombardment to end human resistance within hours. Instead, he witnessed something that would later be studied in Dominion military academies as the most spectacular tactical failure in galactic history. The moment Dominion weapons powered up to fire on Earth, every human vessel in the solar system moved simultaneously. 8,000 ships of every size and configuration accelerated toward the Dominion battle group in perfect coordination. They were not fleeing from the aliens, they were swarming toward them. Captain Yuri led the civilian volunteer fleet in what humans called the Great Embrace. Thousands of converted cargo haulers, mining vessels, and passenger ships moved to surround every Dominion warship. Their approach was not aggressive, but it was absolutely unstoppable. "You seem very upset about something," Captain Yuri broadcast on all frequencies as her fleet approached the Dominion flagship. "We can see that you are preparing to use weapons, but we think there might be a better solution. Please let us help you feel better about this situation." The human swarm executed the most unusual military maneuver in recorded galactic history. Instead of attacking Dominion ships, they began physically embracing them using magnetic clamps, docking tubes, and emergency attachment systems to connect human vessels directly to alien hulls. Admiral Seo Jun coordinated the embrace maneuver from his command ship while broadcasting continuous explanations to confused Dominion crews. "We understand that you are probably feeling frustrated because we have not responded to your intimidation efforts in the way you expected. This is completely normal during first contact situations, and we want to help you work through these feelings." The psychological effect on Dominion personnel was immediate and devastating. Crystalline species had evolved for clear hierarchical relationships where superior force established immediate dominance. Being physically embraced by thousands of inferior life forms, while those life forms offered emotional support, created cognitive dissonance that their psychology could not process. Dr. Na Young had spent weeks studying Dominion behavior patterns and identified their fundamental weakness. The aliens were a collective species that functioned through rigid command structures and shared psychological states. Disrupting their social organization was more effective than attacking their technology. The embrace maneuver prevents them from maintaining military formation while forcing individual contact with human crews, Dr. Na Young explained to Earth Command. Their species cannot handle sustained personal interaction with beings they are supposed to conquer. It creates psychological stress that cascades through their command structure. Human boarding parties began entering Dominion ships through the docking connections. They came bearing gifts, including food, art, music, and scientific instruments. Instead of fighting Dominion crew members, the humans asked questions about their well-being and offered to help with any problems they might be experiencing, Lieutenant. Taemin led the first boarding team onto a Dominion destroyer and found the alien crew huddled in their command center, exhibiting what human psychologists recognized as collective anxiety responses. "Hello, friends," he said cheerfully while offering packages of Earth food. "We brought presents and we would love to learn about your ship. Are you feeling all right because you all look stressed?" The Dominion warriors trained for combat against hostile species found themselves completely unprepared for enemies who wanted to feed them and ask about their emotional state. Their military protocols contained no procedures for handling invasions by concerned social workers. Engineer Juan led technical teams that offered to upgrade Dominion ship systems while they were attached to human vessels. "Your power distribution network is fascinating, but we think we can help you optimize it for better performance," he told bewildered alien engineers. "Also, your life support systems seem to be causing stress responses in your crew. Would you like us to adjust the atmospheric composition?" General Crixtall watched his battle group become completely immobilized by the most aggressive friendship campaign in galactic history. Human ships had attached themselves to every Dominion vessel like caring relatives visiting sick family members. His crew reported that humans were wandering their ships, offering assistance with maintenance and asking personal questions about Dominion culture. General reported his medical officer, "Crew psychological stress levels are approaching critical parameters. The humans are treating our personnel as guests who need care and attention. This behavior is causing existential confusion among warriors trained for dominance relationships." The situation worsened when humans began broadcasting personal messages directly into Dominion ships through the hull connections. Families on Earth sent greetings to alien crew members while children drew pictures of friendly aliens, and scientists offered to share research. Data Commander Gite established the first integrated human-alien crew when Dominion technical specialists became curious about human engineering methods. "Your species approaches problem-solving very differently from ours," reported alien engineer Kethan. "We find your collaborative methods surprisingly effective compared to our hierarchical protocols." The cultural contamination spread rapidly through the Dominion fleet as alien personnel were exposed to human social dynamics. Crews that had spent years following conquest orders began questioning why they were attacking people who obviously wanted to be friends. General Crixtall attempted to restore military discipline by ordering his ships to break away from human attachments, but discovered that his own crew members were reluctant to abandon their new human friends. "Sir," reported his weapons officer, "the humans have been very helpful with our system's maintenance, and they want to show us something called music that creates pleasant resonances in our crystalline structure." The general realized that the Dominion had encountered something far more dangerous than hostile aliens. They had found a species capable of converting conquerors into friends through sheer social persistence and genuine care for others' well-being. "Communications send emergency transmission to Dominion High Command," Crixtall ordered while watching. Human children wave at his ship through observation windows. "The human species represents an existential threat to Dominion expansion doctrine. They are converting our forces to their social systems faster than we can maintain military discipline." Admiral Seo Jun coordinated the final phase of the Embrace maneuver, which involved inviting Dominion crew members to visit human ships for cultural exchange tours. "We have prepared presentations about human civilization, and we would love to learn about your people," he broadcast. "Also, our medical teams want to make sure you are all healthy and comfortable during your visit to our solar system." The most terrifying moment for General Crixtall came when he realized he was personally curious about the human social systems that had so effectively neutralized his battle group. The species that was supposed to fear the Dominion had instead made the Dominion afraid of becoming too friendly. Emperor Vashatar arrived at the human solar system 3 weeks after General Crixtall's battle group had been completely neutralized by what Dominion historians would later call the Friendship Offensive. The Emperor brought the largest fleet in Dominion history, expecting to find either a conquered system or the remains of his forces after a glorious battle. Instead, he discovered something that challenged every assumption about galactic civilization. Half of his original battle group was still attached to human vessels, but the crews were no longer following Dominion military protocols. They had become enthusiastic participants in what humans called cultural exchange programs. Captain Hyun Soo had converted the Dominion destroyer Sol's Promise into the first integrated human-alien vessel in galactic history. His mixed crew of humans and crystalline beings worked together with efficiency that exceeded both species' previous capabilities. The ship served as a model for cooperation that was being replicated throughout the combined fleet's Emperor Vashatar. Captain Hyun-Soo transmitted as the Imperial fleet approached. "Welcome to our solar system. We have prepared a comprehensive cultural presentation about both human and Dominion civilizations. Your crew members who have been working with us are excited to show you what we have accomplished together, the Emperors." Tactical analysis revealed that his supposedly conquered forces had been integrated into human social structures through methods that appeared more effective than traditional military discipline. Dominion crew members reported higher morale, improved technical performance, and something they called happiness that had no equivalent in standard military databases. Commander Gite had established integration protocols that paired human and alien specialists for maximum efficiency. Engineering teams that combined human creativity with Dominion technical precision achieved breakthrough innovations in propulsion technology, energy systems, and communication networks. The collaborative results exceeded what either species could accomplish independently. "Your Imperial Majesty," reported General Krixtall when the Emperor demanded an explanation for the situation. "The humans have developed social warfare techniques that are more effective than any weapons we possess. They convert enemies into allies through sustained friendship campaigns that overwhelm traditional military resistance." Dr. Yun-Woo had organized what she cheerfully described as the first Galactic Friendship Festival. The event brought together representatives from dozens of species, including many that the Dominion had conquered over the centuries. Instead of demanding independence, these species requested to join the human-led cooperation initiative. The festival featured presentations of each species' cultural achievements, scientific discoveries, and artistic traditions. Humans served as enthusiastic hosts while encouraging everyone to share their unique contributions to galactic civilization. The event attracted so much positive attention that species across the galaxy began sending diplomatic missions requesting inclusion. Emperor Vashtar found himself facing a choice that no Dominion leader had ever contemplated. He could order the destruction of the human homeworld and eliminate the threat to traditional conquest doctrine. However, doing so would also destroy the most successful example of interspecies cooperation in galactic history. Dr. Yun-Woo, the Emperor, transmitted after days of observing the Friendship Festival. "We require direct negotiations with human leadership to resolve this unprecedented situation. The Dominion demands immediate discussions regarding proper galactic hierarchy." The negotiations that followed were unlike anything in recorded diplomatic history. Instead of meeting in formal conference rooms, the humans invited Emperor Vashatar to what they called a community picnic held in Earth's largest park. Thousands of humans, aliens, and integrated crews gathered for what appeared to be a social celebration, rather than political discussions. "Your Imperial Majesty," Dr. Yun-Woo said, while offering the Emperor a plate of food from various human cultures. "We are honored to meet the leader of such an impressive civilization. We hope you will consider joining our cooperative initiative because we believe your people have much to contribute to galactic society." The humans did not demand territorial concessions, reparations, or political independence. Instead, they proposed expanded cultural exchange programs, joint scientific research initiatives, and something they called collaborative exploration projects designed to contact isolated species throughout the galaxy. "We understand that your people have been focused on conquest and expansion," explained Dr. Sun-Woo during a presentation about Earth biodiversity. "But we think there might be more satisfying ways to interact with other species. Friendship and cooperation tend to produce better long-term results than fear and domination." Emperor Vashatar found himself experiencing emotions that had no place in Dominion leadership protocols. The humans had created an environment where traditional power dynamics seemed irrelevant. Instead of demanding submission, they offered partnership, and instead of fearing alien authority, they expressed genuine interest in alien well-being. The most transformative moment occurred when Dr. Sun-Woo began teaching integrated classes that included humans, aliens, and even the Emperor himself. The subject was Earth biodiversity, but the real education was in cooperative learning methods that allowed different species to contribute their unique perspectives. "Your crystalline structure allows you to perceive electromagnetic frequencies that humans cannot detect," Dr. Sun-Woo told Emperor Vashatar during a field trip to study Earth's coral reefs. This gives you insights into photosynthesis that could revolutionize our understanding of planetary ecosystems. We would love to collaborate on research projects that utilize your natural abilities. The Emperor discovered that being treated as a valuable contributor rather than a conquering overlord created psychological responses he had never experienced. Human enthusiasm for learning about Dominion's science and culture made him feel appreciated in ways that commanding fear could never achieve. 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Dominion had transformed into the Galactic Collaborative, with humanity serving as chief friendship coordinators. The change occurred not through military defeat, but through cultural conversion that made cooperation more appealing than conquest. Former conquest fleets became exploration groups that contacted isolated species with offers of friendship rather than demands for submission. The galaxy's most feared empire had become its most enthusiastic social organization, with membership applications arriving from species across known space. Captain Yuri commanded the exploration vessel New Hope, which carried mixed crews on missions to establish friendly contact with previously unknown civilizations. The ship's success rate was unprecedented because species that might have resisted traditional conquest were curious about civilizations that approached them with gifts and friendship offers. The final transformation occurred when Emperor Vashitar officially changed his title to Community Organizer Vashitar and began learning to cook Korean food under Dr. Sunwoo's patient instruction. The former galactic tyrant had become an enthusiastic student of human culture while teaching humans about crystalline biology. The humans taught us that there are better ways to interact with other species, Community Organizer Vashitar explained, to newly contacted aliens during a welcome ceremony. Instead of conquest, we now focus on cooperation, and instead of fear, we build friendships. Would you like to join our collaborative civilization? The galaxy had witnessed the most improbable transformation in recorded history. A species that had conquered through intimidation and force had been completely reformed by aggressive friendship and sustained social support. The Dominion had tried to scare humanity into submission, but instead humanity had scared them into happiness. The final scene of this unprecedented cultural revolution showed the former emperor learning to tend a garden, while Dr. Sunwoo explained the symbiotic relationships between different plant species. Cooperation creates stronger ecosystems than competition, she told her eager student. The same principle applies to galactic civilizations.